The number of internally displaced people also grew sharply. What is the reason behind this trend? Why did they never flee their countries?
Well, in some cases, people don't flee their countries because it's very difficult to either logistically or because it's very unsafe to travel those distances and to actually get across borders. And in some cases, people are unable to. We do see situations where countries don't open their borders to allow refugees to cross. But in many cases as well, when you have a conflict that's mutating and moving around, for example, I mentioned the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There we've seen conflict around Goma and spreading around that area. And in that particular situation, people might move sometimes 20 kilometers, 100 kilometers inside the country to try to find safety. Or in some other cases, they may feel compelled to go across the border. And we saw that with countries like Burundi and Uganda in the last 6 months. So these conflicts create a very complicated patchwork of movements. And sometimes people stay within their borders, and sometimes they're compelled to cross international borders.
And one encouraging change out of all this, however, is that we've seen many Syrians coming back home after a decade of displacement. What's the key to helping them rebuild lives so that they would not have to face another exodus and could hopefully start over again?
Well, this is one ray of light that we see on the international sphere in terms of displacement. The situation in Syria is much more stable now than it was. Since December, when the Assad regime was overthrown, we've seen much more stability. So we've seen people able to come home. People from the region who were displaced across borders have gone home, but also within Syria, people have gone back to their villages, back to their towns, and the numbers are almost 2 million people. So that is encouraging. It's one of a very few signs of hope. But what's really needed now primarily is, of course, peace in the region. And we've seen the events in Iran with Israel recently. So the peace is very much lacking in that region. But also in terms of Syria specifically, I think financial support, because even when refugees return home, they still need support. They still need help with services, with infrastructure, with housing, and all of that kind of assistance, which we call development assistance rather than humanitarian assistance. But the people of Syria will need that if they're to have a chance at medium or long-term stability in that country.